I kind of determined with some help of AI and some other resources on what essential settings are that you should be aware of, what some good to know settings are, and then a few extras that are out there that exist in Windows. So the essentials that I have are Windows Update. Obviously, if you have a Windows machine, you want to get the updates from Microsoft. You can check for updates manually, but it also is helpful to make sure that it's set for automatic. So it's just a matter. Now, where do you find settings? Well, you can go to the Windows key or the Windows button on the taskbar, and you can open up settings. And settings has some navigation on the left. That's what the first word is when it says settings, a Windows update. And if you don't see Windows update, just scroll up a little bit and you'll see that at the bottom. So sometimes you may not see everything on the screen. So always scroll up. And Windows update is pretty easy. So you can check for updates if you want to. You can see this has checked for the latest updates as soon as they're available. You can pause them and you can go to advanced options and change your update functions to manual. So Windows Update's important. For 90% of people out there, having the updates set up automatically is going to be the right setting for them, and you don't have to worry about them. So that's one essential setting. Another essential setting has to do with privacy and security and Windows security. I'm going to go back to the beginning on all of these. Eventually, I may just start at settings, but if you click on the Windows icon and click on settings, you'll get there again. And if you go to where it says privacy and security, which is down here on the left, you will see Windows security is the first tab here. So if you see these little arrows that point out to the right, that means that if you click on any of these menus, there is more information. So Windows security is pretty good. It tells you with some check marks what is helpful and important. But if you're wondering what is doing your virus and threat protection, if you don't have, Windows comes standard with Microsoft Defender, and so you don't need to purchase an extra one. But if you do need to check what's doing it, you can look at this virus and threat protection and see who's protecting you and manage your providers and see what's going on. You can see that my antivirus is Windows Defender antivirus. So that's a pretty easy setting to manage as well. We talked about antivirus. Let me go to the next essential, privacy and security. Privacy and security gives you the ability to turn off tracking and restrict apps access to your microphone and camera. You may or may not know some apps ask for permission to view your microphone and camera. And so let's go to settings, and then we'll go to privacy and security here. And we can look at the tracking tools here that are available. So you can give Windows permission for or not give it permission in terms of what it can do with your information. So just something to check to see whether you want to change your privacy and setting in terms of general information here. Let Windows show you content, improving start search results, show suggested content in the settings app, other privacy resources, and managing other tools. And when you look at this menu in security, you can just click on the menu here, and you can also get to other information as well to manage it and change information. So here's where you'd manage your app permissions for, say, the camera. And you can see that there are a couple of apps that have some access to the camera. You can see the microphone, speech, and other things here that the applications have access, and you can see whether or not you can be interrupted or somebody can hear you from them. So things like Microsoft Teams and other tools have permissions to do those things as well. So just another way you can manage it. Now, that's pretty much, other than the file history and the backup, of what you might need to do essential. Now, interestingly enough, Windows does not give you a built-in option to back up to a local hard drive anymore. So if you go to settings and then accounts, and you look at you go down here and you look at for Windows backup. Windows backup is designed to sync with OneDrive. It's not designed to let you set up a local disk drive in order to do anything. And so there's no settings anymore for setting up a local disk drive to back up. But if you go and buy a local backup drive through a retail store, you'll be able to take care of that. So those are pretty much the essential settings that you might have to deal with. And we can take a look at them and go into detail afterwards. Okay, so what are some good to know settings? Okay, notifications. Well, every device has notifications. We've kind of talked about notifications a lot, but your Windows desktop will give you notifications. So if you go to settings and then system, and each of these menus has gotten a lot of this stuff used to be in the control center of Microsoft and was very difficult to get to. So I have notifications turned off completely because I'm using a Windows machine as my secondary machine. I don't want notifications turned on. But if you do use notifications, you can go in and customize it. There is a do not disturb mode as well. So you can turn on do not disturb. You can set it to go on automatically. You can set priority notifications, and you can set focus just like you can on an Apple device where certain times or events or activities, you can set up focus. So there's flexibility with notifications there. Let's go to the next one that's good to know about. Display settings. A lot of people I know like using multiple displays. So if you go to settings and then system, and then we look at, we get back out of notifications here, we go to display. If we look at display, there's some options here, but one of the best things is the scale function. The scale function gives you the ability to scale up your display, but also related settings for text size and also changing things for graphics if you have visual, issues and you want to try and improve it for optimizing things like games or other graphics as well. So that's a good one to know about when you want to be able to change and manage your display there. Let's take a look at accessibility. I'm just going to leave the menu up here because the settings are all on the left. Accessibility gives you access to text size, visual effects, scroll bars, how your mouse pointer looks, your text cursor when you have a flashing cursor that's flashing on a document. You want to see that. You want to use color filters. You want to change contrast. You want to use narrator. And then there's all other settings for here. So this is where you'd go into not only the captions, but you could also do things with your other accessibility options too, and be able to modify them. So captions is great because it gives you the ability to put captions. It gives you a theme preview of how it's going to look. And you can use a Windows key to turn live captions on just by using the Windows and Control L key will turn on live captions and download the live captions feature. Another great setting. So I'm going to go back to settings in general here, and we'll take a look at the first one that's selected, system. We'll go to personalization. Personalization is fun. It's a good to know. It's not essential, but you can apply themes. You can change wallpaper. You can do light and dark mode. You can change your backgrounds if you want to. There's just ways to make it easier to do things that might make it a little more interesting for you and more personalized. Okay, and then we've got personalization of the taskbar. The taskbar is not as flexible as it used to be, unfortunately. But if you look at the taskbar, where here is taskbar, you have the ability to change the view of it, use it as widgets, change it a little bit how it shows up and other types of settings, but not a tremendous amount of option with the taskbars built in. They just don't want you to have to play around with it too much anymore. So storage sense is another setting. So under system, what storage sense does is storage sense will take a look at how you are using your system. If you go to storage, it'll tell you some statistics about your hard drive and how much room everything takes up. But storage sense automatically deletes temporary files and makes it available when you need to have it. So it used to be something people would go in and do things like defragging a drive. That's not necessary to do. It's automatic in Windows. But Storage Sense actually gets rid of temporary files. Whenever you visit a web page, or sometimes you create a back document, you save it, it's saved in a temporary file. It keeps track of those temporary files that could accumulate and build up space, but it keeps your system running smoother that way. Okay, so those are some good to know. And there's hundreds of settings, so there's no way you really could ever explore all of them without spending hours doing it. But this is just to help you get a little exposure to them. The extras are a few things that I thought were kind of interesting. So under System and Display, let's go back to System here, and we go to Display. There's something called Nightlight. So, I mean, our phones have this and our tablets have this, but Windows actually has it as well. And let's click this little disclosure. So we can turn warmer colors to help you go to sleep. So if you're somebody who likes to work on their computer, just before bedtime, which isn't recommended for sleeping, but if you do, you can turn on Nightlight, which makes your display a little less blue and a little more warm in the warm color. So it's easier on the eyes. It might just help you from seeing things too. And then there's a system recovery function. Now, I found the really easy way to get to system recovery. Rather than using a keyboard, it's not actually available in settings, but if you use the search button here and you just type restore here, you'll get a function here that'll automatically take you to the control panel feature called creating a restore point. Why might you want to create a restore point? A restore point creates a snapshot in time of your computer with all the applications and permissions and the settings for the operating system. So if there's some reason your computer works poorly after you install some new software, you can go back to a restore point and restore your computer to the way the settings were and the operating system was in a snapshot before you actually installed that software. So it's something that you can do and go back in time, and the instructions are usually there's just a C drive selected. You click on configure. I have system protection turned on, so there will be restore points created. It's currently using 8 gigabytes. I have a 45 gigabytes available, and I could just click and it's set up to make restore points for me. It will automatically keep it. It's really more important for you. Like if you download software from the internet or download an extension to your web browser or something like that, having that restore point can make it easier to roll your operating system settings back a little bit before you install that software. It's not going to make too much difference with hardware, but it is used by a lot of people that administer their PCs as well.